Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, altcoins are recovering a little bit, which for me doesn't really matter because, well, obviously I want to see altcoins recover, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm waiting for the move to happen, the one we have been talking about now for a week or so. I do want to see the Bitcoin dominance go down when Bitcoin goes up. The reason why I want to see this is because that means we are going to be flooded with more money in the market. If Bitcoin is going up and the Bitcoin dominance is going down, that means that there's just a lot more money inflow, right? Because Bitcoin is still rising, but its dominance is dropping, which means altcoins are getting more of the bread. And that is something I want to see over the next few weeks, right? Generally speaking, though, I know Bitcoin dominance most likely will be going higher and higher, right? We could technically start reversing now, but I would have to see more confirmation, right? Some people thought, when we were over here, right, the end of November, beginning of December, people thought this was a break of structure and that dominance would be going down. And I was like, no, right? No, the most probable thing was that we were retesting, right? Off of these areas. And then, of course, we were kind of creating a zone, going like this, where we had to make a decision. And then eventually we broke it down on a smaller time frame and we said, okay, yeah, Bitcoin dominance is looking to be breaking to the upside. And that is exactly what happened. So, I don't think it's going to reverse. Some people think this is it. For me, no, I don't think so. Right. Generally speaking, though, when Bitcoin dominance starts to rise, I do want to just see the whole market be generally green, just because that means there's a lot of money coming in, right? When we go to the total market cap, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is the most important thing, right? This pretty much indicates how much money there is in the market in total. We can see we're pretty much at roughly sitting at all-time highs of 2021, just a little bit higher. I do, ladies and gentlemen, believe that we are looking to be reversing soon. We can see the last few days, they've been very, very choppy. And even just putting it in the most noob friendly way, we can see it just looks like it wants to start reversing. Okay. And that is what I believe is going to happen over next coming weeks. So for me, obviously not a financial advisor, but for me, if I was looking to be buying altcoins, I would be looking to be buying them anywhere from now over the next, maximum 1 week, as we do believe there could be a small minor dip of, let's just say, 5 to 10% for each coin, maybe a little bit more for meme coins. But generally speaking, I believe the reversal is coming in, right? We can see that if we go even on the hourly, right, we are kind of in this zone going down diagonally. And, this is one of those patterns. I know a lot of people don't believe in patterns. I personally think they're okay, depending with the right context, right? If, people abuse patterns, without the proper context, then it doesn't work. But for me, this is one of those contexts that pretty much I believe we will be going something like this until we start kind of going sideways until we break out, right? So for me, the reversals are going to be coming here soon. And I do believe that's the case. Now, some people have been asking me, where do I think the market can top? And right away, right away, I think this is going to be the biggest altcoin season ever. So for me, right away, I'm going to just say I believe we could hit 6 trillion in terms of total market cap. I know that seems crazy, but you have to realize that, when we were over here accumulating for a couple months, pretty much turning the resistance to support, when we broke out, you got to realize we went from 2.25 trillion up to 2 point or up to 3.70, right? So we went up 1.5 trillion in market cap in just a span of a couple of weeks. So I believe that's going to be the same thing over, the next few months. It's going to happen. We're going to have one or two more expansions where we will hit very, very big numbers. Now, some people believe, we could hit 9 to 12 trillion. Now, obviously, I would love for that to happen, right? Hitting a 12 trillion market cap, which would mean, each altcoin would probably, give you very, very insane gains. but I'm playing it more from the realistic angle, right? From the more conservative angle. I will always adjust my game plan if I see, hey, there's no indications of slowing down, then I will obviously always adjust my game plan and I'll tell you guys, right? But we could see that over here, these are the three main zones. Now, primarily, I would be looking to cash out somewhere in between, 6 trillion and 9 trillion on the more realistic angle. If we get hit like somewhere around 7.5, that is, the perfect area. This is just all speculation though, right? For me, the most important things are what the candles are saying, right? At the moment, the candles are pretty much just saying that we are retesting on top officially, right? In terms of total market cap, we weren't even there. But in terms of, Bitcoin, we were, right? When we went to Bitcoin, we can see that we were actually pretty much roughly retesting on top of it. We were going a little bit lower, but now we're kind of in no man's land, creating a support, which I believe we will continue pushing up. The reason is because, ladies and gentlemen, right? A lot of people don't mention this, is because the total market cap is now retesting off of these highs, right? So pretty much what Bitcoin did a couple months ago um, is what pretty much is happening right now, the total market cap. Okay. So we can see, generally speaking, we are retesting off of these highs, right? We are kind of floating above them, right? If we go something like this. So we can see we're trying to create a nice floor. And the thing is, once we establish this is a nice floor on top of an all-time high, we will get nice generational pushes to the upside. Okay. Some people are calling for reverse. For me, like I said, there is no indication. We were literally going sideways for months before we broke out. I really doubt we're going to get some next level correction or that's it, right? For me, this is the next step, right? Retest off of the highs and then explode. Okay. You have to realize that, uh, you know, something similar happened here, right? Where we were going sideways for weeks, right? We could pretty much say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roughly, 5 to 6 weeks, we're going sideways, roughly on top of the last previous all-time highs in terms of total market cap, right? It was a little bit higher, but it was like five-ish weeks, you could say on average. We have been going longer now, but you have to realize that there's much more money involved. Okay. And it's easier to move from, let's say, $100 million to 700 million than it is from 1.5 billion to 3 billion. Okay. Those just random numbers, but the point is that the higher the amount of money there is, the more amount of money there is, the longer it's going to take to move. That is why something like gold takes years to break out of its cycle, is because its market cap is, like 10, 12, 13 times higher than Bitcoins and cryptos. And it's on a next level. So it takes months and years to finally break out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we can see from 2011 up until 2020, right? It took that much time to get to its, pretty much all-time high. And then it took another 3 to 4 years going sideways, generally speaking, on top, on top of its previous highs, right? Before it finally broke out. Now, we're not going to get that with Bitcoin, not yet. Maybe 3 cycles down the road, right? We might get these kind of very long periods where it takes a very, very long time each move. But right now, it is going to be shorter than gold, but it is going to be longer than the previous cycles. Okay, that is just how it moves. It's why, Bitcoin this time around didn't retrace as far as people thought. A lot of people thought we're going to have very deep retracements of 50%, 60, 70%, when Bitcoin was lower back in the 40,000s, even in the 30,000s. You got to realize the more money there is, the harder it is to pull back a lot, because you have to realize there's a lot more capital involved. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We are still very bullish. I'm still very bullish. I still believe the biggest altcoin season will happen, right? You have to realize that, we are in, pretty much the lowest of the lows in terms of dominance for altcoins. But you have to realize where we're going to be headed is way above this, right? Way above these highs. And I believe we could even go up to upwards of 30%, right? In terms of the domination. So, ladies and gentlemen, the future is bright. I don't care what anyone says. My bias is still the same. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.